What's up, gang, and welcome to another spooky, finger tingling episode of Did You Hear That? A show where we like to cover the spooky things in life and try to keep a pretty fun, loose attitude about it. Try not to take ourselves too seriously, but we are going to talk about some spooky things. We're over here talking about Bigfoot, ghosts, aliens, conspiracies, anything and everything. I'm your host, Brandon, and this is my lovely co host, my wife, Nina.
Hey guys, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep this thing going.
So, like I said, we're over here talking about some spooky things aliens, portals, conspiracy, hiding evidence, and a big mall on New Year's Day. So, before we get into it, let's roll the intro. So, the topic that we're going to be getting into today is something I brought up to you earlier, and something that I remember seeing basically right after it happened. It was a weird story. I wasn't really looking for anything spooky or paranormal or anything like that, but I was basically just kind of doom scrolling on TikTok, and I ran across this video where it was basically just the thumbnail was a picture of the outside of what looked like a mall or something, and just a string of nothing but blue and red lights from police cars, and of course, police cars. And didn't really think too much about it, so I keep kind of scrolling a little bit, and I went back because I was like, "What was that about? Let me just watch the video and see."
Right.
And what they were talking about was New Year's 2024 at a mall in Miami. They had some like weird something happen inside the mall, and they brought out this huge police force. Like we're talking 100, 180 cars. I'll throw a picture up so people know what we're talking about if they haven't seen it. And the more I started listening, they were talking about like this mass panic, like this hysteria of people in the mall. And according to the video and what little bit of evidence was shown was people were claiming that they seen a big portal open up in the middle of the mall, and like these creatures were crawling out. They were talking about like some people said there were 10-foot aliens, 8-foot tall beings, and people started panicking and just kind of running out of there. I thought it was kind of weird, so I kept trying to find more information about it, but the information was kind of limited.
Right.
Like it wasn't a whole lot of stuff out there about it. Even now, it's not really a whole lot of stuff out there. And I just thought it was really strange because, like, that was the report from people that claimed that they were there or that they were in the area. But the official police report was that it was just a group of teens that were just like setting off fireworks inside the mall.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I can kind of see the whole Roman candle thing. I mean, that or, group of teens or whatever messing around in the mall, knocking over some shelves, and that's where the big explosion came from.
Yeah, like I understand that that's a pretty reasonable explanation. Sounds pretty rational. But the part that doesn't make sense, didn't then, and it still doesn't now, is that it was 2024, not 1994, not
Yeah.
2004. 2024. Big incident. I mean, they, like I said, they literally had this whole string of police cars,
Right.
red and blue lights shining everywhere. And there's not hardly any video. There's tons of people that, had some kind of sighting, or they said it was like an encounter. Like I said, no video, no pictures, like no security footage, nothing.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, that would be kind of weird that, isn't there. Especially considering the fact that, today teenagers as well as even adults for the most part have a phone glued to their hand.
Yeah, it's like everyone is trying to catch video or pictures of something. Like literally, people just walk around filming their day to day life, their shopping experiences, going to the mall, whatever. Even if it was like a group of teens setting off fireworks, you're telling me all those teenagers aren't, there isn't at least one that's going to be trying to film it to post on there. Hey, look what we did. Look how crazy we are. Let's see how many likes and views we get from this. Like
but
nothing.
but I mean, think about it. How many people would you know or whatever, that would be just standing around, cameras out or whatever, when apparently everybody was like rushing out.
True, like I kind of see that point of view, but I mean, there's almost always at least one or two or three or a handful, depending on how big the group is.
Yeah,
That's like, I have to get video of this. Like, this is nuts. No one's going to believe this. Or even from the point of, hey, we can get views from this. We can throw this on our channel. This is interesting. This is going to gain a
right.
following. It's going to go viral. Something. But like nothing, nothing. There's been a couple, like one or two videos that I know of, and like I said, I've searched and researched and tried to find more information. And you see like regular news reports,
Yeah,
but it's just the same. It was just a big hoax or whatever. It was just some teens. They were setting off fireworks. They sent out some extra units. Extra units doesn't mean like 100, 180. Like that's way excessive.
right.
Like that seems like the War of the Worlds, Battle of Los Angeles. Any of those nerds that are into this kind of stuff, like me, would know what that is. But it's like it's they sent out the troops almost, or so to speak, because it was like really something big going on, not a group of teens lighting off some fireworks.
Well, how do you know that it wasn't just, you know, some AI TikTok, kind of thing that they
Well,
tried to put together?
true. I've only seen a couple of videos here and there, and nothing really too crazy. Maybe a couple here and there you can kind of pick out the definite fakes.
Yeah,
But even the ones that are trying to look more realistic, it is true. You don't know if it's, real or AI. Unfortunately, everything now that seems a little out there, you can pretty much chalk up to AI.
yeah.
But like I said, it's just so strange that they would send out so many police units for fireworks. Like I could understand 10, 20, 50 seems a lot,
Right.
but 100, 180,
Okay, so let me ask this then.
okay.
So you're saying like 180 police cars.
Hmm.
So if this actually took place and the FBI keeps really, really close looks on, like alien creatures and stuff like that or whatever, where was the FBI? Why just 180 police cars?
Well, that's a very good point. I don't know. I don't know who all was involved. I mean, there was talks about, phones getting confiscated, people being visited, we'll say, to, kind of keep quiet about it. Like, you don't know. Is the real Men in Black real? Did they pull out the little zapper thing and hit everyone? I have no idea.
Instant amnesia.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. It's just the more, because, yeah, I lean more towards being open minded and believing in, a little bit more than what we're told. But at the same time, it's like if I try to be rational and think rationally about it, it still just doesn't, like everything just doesn't line up. Just seems like there's more to the story that it may never come out the full truth.
Or maybe it was just some, like the police said, it was just Roman candles or whatever, and, a group of teens, and everybody thought maybe it was an explode, because the sound of the explosion, it sent everybody into a frantic, I mean, if there's an explosion going on, not everybody's going to want to stand around or whatever with a camera to try to figure out what's going on, especially if it's in the same building.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah, not everyone, of course,
yeah,
but I mean, unfortunately, the world we live in, there's mass shootings. You know, um, people that try to bomb buildings and like big groups of gatherings of music concerts, movies. Just events in general. I mean, yeah, the world is a pretty scary place at times, but even in almost every single one of those incidents, you've got someone that's got video evidence. You've got someone that's taken pictures of being in there. You've got
yeah.
something to go off of. But for this big thing to happen, and I know I keep saying it, but just all those, you know, line like this big huge line of police force,
Or maybe it
and the
was the
only
town sheriff's like kid or something like that, so he didn't want it to be publicized.
now there's definitely history of stuff like that happening, but usually it's smaller towns.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe the mayor's kid or something like that.
Look, we're not accusing anybody. Don't come looking for us. We're just trying to come up with a rational explanation of how, this could be something besides paranormal, extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call it. So don't come knocking on our door.
Right. Exactly. We do not know these things, so we're just,
No, we're not experts on anything. We're just asking some questions and bringing attention to some things that most, not everyone's heard of. But it is, I don't know, it's just really, really strange. I mean, even there are some cases where people in power or something like that, like their children or family members or significant whatever, but they still end up getting caught. There's still something that's some kind of evidence, something that's being shown about it.
yeah, but I mean, still at the same time, I mean, if it was actual extraterrestrial, did they even give any type of description as far as?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of so-called eyewitnesses that seen beings, and they looked like really tall, lanky, skinny aliens and stuff like that.
How do we know that it's not teenage kids on stilts and costumes?
I mean, it would have to be some really stupid people to see kids on stilts and think, "Oh my God, it grew out of a
I
portal."
mean, have you seen some of them kids on, the airwalk and stuff like that? I'm pretty sure some kids would be willing to break their neck just to cause a bit of frenzy inside of them.
But again, if they did that, how many people do you know that would want to do that, or kids could you think that would want to do that simply just to say, "Hey, we did that," not, "Hey, look what we did. Hey, check this out. Hey, we fooled everybody." I mean, that was 2004. We're in 2005, getting ready to round out, 2000, come up to 2006. Someone would have said something.
Yeah.
We're talking about alleged teens that
Unless
that
they
did
were told
this.
to hush.
I ain't buying it. You're definitely more skeptical than I am, and I try to think of both sides. Like I'm not so close minded to think of both sides of the fence, but no, when it just ain't making sense, it ain't making sense. When it seems like an obvious cover up of something bigger, then it's like if it meows, it's a cat. If it quacks, it's a duck. If it moos, it's a cow.
Welcome to the farm.
Yeah, welcome to the farm. The nut house is more like it. Like it's strange times, and it's you never know what's going to pop up on the news, what's going to pop up on social media. Like I mean, there's so many different things that are saying like they're coming, they're here, and then on the flip side, um, there's like conspiracies that it's all like some big government conspiracy that they're trying to put it, pump information or false information out there because it's that's a much deeper topic. But
Right.
I'll pull back from that a little bit because that really dives pretty deep. But I don't know, it just seems really fishy. I ain't buying it. Something else is going on there, and we'll probably never have the true answers. But at the same time, I couldn't say definitively it is absolutely aliens. A portal really showed up. That's the part that really sounds a little out there to me. But I mean, if we are talking about real aliens or like a real alien experience, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And of course, if it was a real alien experience, it would explain why there is no content because the FBI would obviously be involved and make sure that it wasn't publicly announced.
True.
But as again, like I said, 180 police cars, but no sight of the FBI when they pretty much track the whole extraterrestrial, not even the military in sight. You would think that the military would at least be in sight or whatever at that point.
Well, not just the FBI. I mean, just the government as a whole. Definitely, I would say if aliens and stuff are real, they are definitely keeping a close eye. And why wouldn't they? I mean, it's just like anything else. They don't want them to just. I would assume they don't want them to just come and attack and not have some kind of game plan. I mean,
Right.
the whole alien visitors from another planet, all however you want to phrase that goes so deep and it's gone so far back that it's like if any of that ever showed up or anything ever happened, you have to believe they are studying, they have a game plan, something.
I mean, there are people, maybe even like me or whatever, that thinks that maybe, just maybe, it might possibly be just one of those undercover military experiments and they just try to throw it off as little green people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many different topics that we could go into that tie almost directly into this as far as like cover-ups, conspiracies, government programs. I mean, it's stay tuned because we're going to cover a lot more of these. But this is just one that I don't know. Ever since I seen that video and started kind of looking into it, ever since then, it's like it's something that I just keep kind of coming back to, saying like, all right, did they finally find what really happened? Did they finally find some videos? Allegedly you'll run across a video from time to time of someone that gives their actual account and actual videos, and you never know. It's nothing that I've seen that's like 100% this happened, but
Hmm.
it's definitely, the narrative is not, I'm not leaning towards that at all. It just seems, I don't know, it just seems too weird and seems too coincidental.
I mean, if you want to cause an uproar, you can always just mention that there's an alien around and and it could be a distraction. Could be a
Absolutely.
distraction.
Yep, that's
They could
definitely
have
another
just,
thing.
said, "Oh, hey, no video recording," because there really wasn't anything happening, and then they just wanted to report, "Oh, explosion, yada yada yada," or whatever to create some type of distraction. Because if you didn't see anywhere else, how do we know it really actually happened?
Well, if it's a distraction that's, on a real deep level. I mean, like I said, you're not going to take all those resources away from a big city
Yeah,
just for a distraction of some sort.
true, but I mean, if you think about it, there's a lot of wild crap happening in the world today. So, I mean, if it's on TikTok and it's spreading around on TikTok by a couple of videos that you may have possibly seen, imagine how many other videos that we probably haven't run across when it come to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much stuff out there, so many crazy things that are coming to light, so many crazy things that are, seem so obviously being hidden, that things that they don't want us to see. And I have to believe if it's coming from like a major news source, it's not necessarily because it's something that happened and can be explained or unexplained. Maybe it is just a narrative that like, hey, let's push this out.
Right.
I mean, stuff like that. I believe that stuff happens all the time.
And you can't necessarily go based upon the news nowadays either.
No.
Because they'll spin a story real quick just to be able to make something look juicy.
Yeah. And I mean, it's when it comes to stuff like that, I mean, it's just like anything else. You could have like an interview that goes 2 hours long. If somebody wants to trash someone or make up something about them, all they have to do is find one little clip of them saying something that sounds out of context
Turn
without
it
the rest of
AI.
it. You could easily turn it to AI, put a different caption. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm a fan of technology. I use it all the time. We're using it right now, but at the same time, it gets kind of scary with what can go out there and what can be shown and not shown, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just very weird times that we're living in right now.
And when you bring AI into the picture, even scrolling through Facebook, because I mean, yes, I'm guilty as charged. I don't really go on TikTok as much as what I used to. But with the whole AI in the picture, you're looking for like little tiny, blips and burps or whatever in the film just to be able to be sure that it might possibly be AI associated, which some of it's so far fetched or whatever. You're just like, okay, there's no way that it could possibly not be AI.
Yeah, but unfortunately, in that sense, I mean, even if it looks obvious to you or to
Hmm.
me, there's so many people that they're not paying attention to that. They just hear what's being put out there, or it looks close enough, and they're like, "No, this is 100% true.
The
Let's just go with
gullible
this."
ones.
I mean, happens all the time.
True.
There's a lot of businesses, companies, what that would completely go out of business if
Oh,
more
yeah.
people didn't buy into stuff like that. But unfortunately, that's just kind of the world we live in now.
Guys, don't be gullible.
Please don't be gullible. Keep an open mind. And like I said, I'm between the two of us. You're more skeptical. I'm a little bit more open minded. But I don't know. When it comes to some things, it's like the world is definitely not black and white. There's so much gray area, and I don't know. That's where I like to look. I like to look more in the gray areas.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that I don't like to look in the gray areas. It's just hard for me personally to imagine these little green or gray or whatever big headed, however you want to draw them, characters or aliens or, ET phone home, critters just roaming around out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get that. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I actually came across what I thought was a real life alien. Body doesn't match up to what anyone could like costume wise or whatever. I don't know. I don't really know what I would do.
And how do we know that the little flying saucer things or whatever aren't just like, some future technology that they have going on behind the scenes that they're just trying to, come up with, that might be our future.
Well, it's scary enough to think we could literally just walk outside right now and just see a light show up and then look up and see a big flying saucer. That would be pretty terrifying.
I mean, the Jetsons were running around in these little hovercraft like cars or whatever, so
Yeah, but it's like there's I don't know if I want to put this out into the universe, but I'm going to say it anyways. There's a part of me that would love to see something like that, but at the same time, it's like terrifying to think of.
I mean, think of it this way, the Tesla. I mean, it's literally an aluminum car just riding on wheels. What's next? A hoverboard car that's gonna fly?
Well, they actually have tested stuff like that throughout the
So, I
years.
mean, like I said, how do we know that the UFOs aren't just possible, you know, future vehicles?
Well, I'm not going to go down that route just yet because that's a whole nother episode.
I mean,
But like I said, it would be scary enough to see a flying saucer just outside.
yeah.
But the idea of just a black hole portal just popping up in the middle of nowhere and seeing something crawl out, I would crap my pants and yours.
I would probably try to go check it out.
See? There we go.
I would be the classic white person that would totally go over there and like, let me touch it. Let me pinch its skin.
Hey, y'all, check this out. Famous last words. Famous last words.
Let me pinch its skin. Let me see if it says ouch.
And again, I think I've mentioned this to you before. You would be the one that would get abducted, taken up in a ship. You're off in space somewhere. You wake up in a pod, and you're like, this is just AI. This ain't real.
I would be turning on my iPhone flashlight on my the camera flashlight thing on my phone, going over there trying to peek inside the hole.
I would only hope that if something like that ever happened, that an alien would look at you and just be like, what is she, from the 30s? Get that old piece of junk out of here. They don't need that. That's old technology. We came up with that in the 20s.
How do we know that it's not like Back to the Future kind of stuff?
We just never know.
They time traveled.
We would just never know. But I think we pretty much said all we could say about that. I'm still on the fence of, I'm just not buying the narrative that, the news has put out there, or the news stations put out there, articles I've read. I'm just not buying that. I don't know if it's necessarily a portal opened up and an alien crawled out, but I definitely don't think it was just a group of teenagers setting off fireworks and then no one has video or picture evidence. And also, let's send out 3 towns worth of police vehicles to go try to arrest, like, what, 10, 20 kids? Come on. I ain't buying it.
But I mean, at the same time, if something like that actually did go down, do you really think that, there wouldn't be some type of government official there other than just police officers?
I think it's one of those things where we'll just never truly know. Not unless something else, comes out about it.
Well, let me ask you this. So, what would you do if
Well,
that was actually a legit real thing and it was actually really green gray little aliens, blowing into them all?
I mean, try to fist bump one.
So you so hey, y'all watch this all over again?
No. I 100% am not going to sit here and say that I would be brave enough to try that. I know we're having fun talking about this, but if I didn't pass out, I'm 100% trying to get out of Dodge, find some place to hide, get out of there. Ideally, I would like to try to find a place that I could hide, but like catch a vantage point. But I don't think I'm brave enough to do that. I think I'm just getting out of there.
Just be like that little M&M or whatever during the Christmas commercials, where they had the little M&Ms with the Santa Claus or whatever, and it's like, they are real. I think that would probably be what I would be like if
I think
discovered that aliens were actually truly real after I went over there and, of course, pinched their skin.
Well, just the idea of you thinking that you could get close enough to just pinch skin.
I mean,
I've seen way too many movies to think that that's how that works out. I would think it would be more like
I would die trying.
No, I think it would be more like Mars Attacks. Like you just look at them and try to say like, "Hey," and then you just get zapped into oblivion.
Hold on my cell phone. ET phone home.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that would work out. But I'm glad you're being optimistic about it.
It's like, meanwhile, you would be over there in the clothes racks.
Yeah, trying to peek out, relive my childhood. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and close this episode out. And again, I just want to say thanks for stopping by and checking this out. If you don't know, this podcast is put on by Desperado Metal Designs. Check it out. I'll throw a link up. And until next time,
live dangerously, keep checking on the content, and keep it spooky, guys.